Alright, so I got the wiring done. This is the wiring harness, and you can see where I crimped all the wires. I'll post like the wiring diagram for this. So this end would go to the back of the radio. I'll show you all this stuff to match up to the truck, and this end goes to the back of the new radio. And I have a couple wires here that I just don't have a need for, like auto antenna. This is an old truck. It doesn't have anything like that. An amplifier. I don't believe there's an amplifier. And this is supposed to go to the emergency brake for the DVD player in the new one. I'll see if I can bypass that. And then, what is this? Oh, this is for backup camera. I guess you wire this to reverse or something. I'm not going to have that either. I may add a camera later, but what I may do is just put a switch on it. If I do that, I'll make another video. So basically right now, there's a couple of things you can do. One, I have these where I can just pull this standard Ford radio out. I'll show you that in a second. Because sometimes it's good to take the weight off of the center console piece when you're going to remove that. But basically what we're after is there's two screws under here you have to remove, and then this just pulls off. This whole thing just pulls off. And I'm using a 9/32. I think it's actually a metric screw that's in here, maybe 8mm or something, but I just don't have one handy. Like I said, this is a do-it-yourself kind of deal. So anyway, these guys, the way they work is there's two holes on either side of an OEM radio, especially Ford. I'm not 100% sure about everyone else, but you take this and you shove it in those holes until it clicks. You can buy these at like $6 maybe. I think they're worth it though. Just hang on to it. And then you shove the other side in. And basically all you do is pull outward, and the radio just pops right out. It's so easy. So you don't necessarily need to have that, because once you get the whole center console out, you can remove the whole thing. But hopefully if I can detach the radio back here, sometimes it's easy. There's the antenna, pretty easy, right? But other times, like the plugs can be a pain. Well, that one came right out. All right, so the radio's out. And the reason that is something to do first is now everything, when I take this out, because I have to take this out because the radio is not going to fit in here. And I'm going to have to Dremel some of this trim off of here to get the radio to fit in there. So what I'm going to do now is take this off and show you pretty much how easy that is. There's these two screws under here. Uno screw. And here's the other screw. Really, it's these two screws and some clips. It's the only thing that holds this on. And what I like about the Ford Ranger is from like 90 something, way back in the early 90s, this dash all the way up to the quit making the truck is the same. And some car critics will say that the Ford was never updated, and that's why they banged it a lot. But I'm like, in later years when you have one of these, man, you can get all sorts of parts for these because they made the same thing forever. But I'm not going to make this a Ford commercial. Be right back. I got to grab a tool real quick. So I do try to use one of these. This is like a little tool. You can buy a kit of these for next to nothing. But basically, it helps not scar your interior. Even if it's an old truck, you don't necessarily want to scar it. You don't have to have this. You can use your fingernails maybe. But you shove this back in there, and it pops out. Now you can get your fingers in it, and you just pull, and this whole thing pops out. I did a video similar to this on a Ranger, 96 Ranger that I have out back. This is an 04. And so on the back here, in the back of this thing, you just got to unplug everything. These are all just switches and cigarette lighter chargers and all that stuff. So just unplug everything and take this out. So I'm going to stop the video right here because I think you'll figure out how to take this thing off. So on this particular radio, I'm going to show you kind of why you have to trim some pieces. So this is the front bezel that came with the radio. Let me get it here. Which would really be like a trim piece, you know, to make it look all nice. Would go right there and then snap on. Well, if you look at the front of your dash in the Ranger, this piece would be all the way out in front, right? Which in and of itself is not horrible. You can, I guess you want to kind of, you know, make it stick out there, but you gotta like, it's a little trial and error. And the other reason you have to trim, I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's a lip on the top and bottom. The sides are usually okay. It's the top and bottoms you have to trim. And the reason for that is, I'm going to try to put this in from the back just to show you here. Is on the sides it'll go through, but on the top and the bottom it's just not going to make it, right? It's too narrow. So what you have to do is Dremel off this lip, or cut it, whatever tool you choose to use. I'm going to Dremel it, but basically I'm just shaving this back so they can get the radio in. But you know, I'm not going to record myself doing that, but just know I'm removing portions of this top lip until the radio sits in there, and that's really what I'm going to do. There's a ton of videos, actually there's a lot of videos, people putting in radios that shows you how to do that. Not specifically a Ranger, but for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to record it. Now, the second thing about this radio, which really peeves me, is it didn't come, there's no cage. Normally on some of these radios, there's a cage. You take the cage off, and you mount the cage into here, and then you slide the radio in. This model radio does not have a cage. It has 4 screws it comes with. So you almost have to get a mounting kit. Something you can put on the side. And I did get that, and I'll go through that later when I install the radio and show you, you know, I guess how to modify that or whatever. But, so now I'm going to go Dremel off this top and bottom and just see how that works. So I haven't started trimming yet. I want to come back and, because I did buy this mounting kit. I don't know if you can see that, FMK552, I'll have pictures of all this stuff. But this was a mounting kit specifically made for Rangers and Explorers and whatnot. I just rubbed something over. But so, like I said, the original trim piece I showed you a moment ago will come all the way out to the front, which, I don't know. Maybe I want that, maybe I don't, I'm not sure. But the one that comes with the mounting kit actually sets recessed. And since this is a touchscreen, maybe I want it recessed so I don't get, you know, a lot of light on there. So this would be the front that mounts right into there, and then these pieces you mount to the side of the radio. And I'll go through all that when I use it. But I guess the point of this piece is, you know, get all your parts together and kind of see how it all assembles, see how it will work before you start trimming anything. So anyway, but obviously I still have to trim this top piece. So I ended up having to get this radio to go in. I had to shave off all the top and all the bottom. It was the only way to get this guy to fit in this hole. But it's in now. And so the next part is to take the mounting kit, which is at the front, which goes right there. And then these pieces mount onto the side of the radio, and they'll stick out a little bit like that. So I don't know if you see that, but they'll stick out a little bit in front. And well, actually maybe it's like that, but it's in the instructions. I'm not going to video record all that either. I'll make some notes in the comments, and also I'll probably comment later on exactly what I did and show you as the finished product, I guess. But before the dremeling and filing, I had to take all the top and the bottom. Okay, now that I got the wiring harness complete, this is actually after I did some Dremel tool work. I forgot I need to check the radio. So I just hooked the wiring harness up and put the key in the ACC position. I didn't turn it on because the four-wheel drive switch is unhooked and some other things, so it kind of concerned me. So anyway, I just turned it back to the ACC position, and the radio works. I know it powers up. Sounds pretty good. A lot better than my old stock radio. I haven't tried the DVD or any of that jazz, or the Bluetooth, but I'm going to try that here. I just wanted to mention that this is a good time to test it, see if it works. I can tell you this mounting kit, worth every penny. So the way it works is you attach the plastic piece to each side, and you don't tighten down the screws. That way it can slide back and forth. And then once you get the desired, depth of the radio, then you tighten them down, and it just snaps right into place. It's fantastic. Highly recommend it. All right, so now that I've tested it, and what's cool about taking this out, this whole centerpiece, is that you can, put your radio in and adjust it, not being here in the car. Just take it to a table. I actually wanted it to be a little bit more recessed than what it is, but that'll work, I think, for what we're doing. So now I'm just going to, reverse, hook everything up, and we should be good to go. We hook under a cable harness up to this piece. We hook the antenna to the back of the radio, and then hook all the, accessory pieces back where they're supposed to go. And I turn it on, and it should work. Let's see what happens. Okay, I just got everything back together. That didn't look too bad. I haven't set the clock or attached Bluetooth. Well, I did tested everything before I put it all in there, but let me back up so you can see that. That's pretty decent for a, 04 Ranger to fit in there pretty good. So let's see what happens. Please work. Car starts, that's good. Found some kind of station here.
Or the Pro Desk for details. Selection varies by location, U.S. only. Liberty Mutual presents worry-free music moments.
I think this turned out pretty well, though. Probably should make sure my four-wheel drive, all my switches are working and everything. But other than that, pretty clean.